Hello everyone, welcome to APTI Plus Academy for Civil Services. This is a special video on Indian economy where I'll be discussing an important report that was recently released by the Department of Economic Affairs. The title of this report is the Indian Economy Review, something very important for civil services examination, whether it is prelims examination or mains examination. It will have a substantial contribution. Apart from prelims and mains specifically, it will contribute in General Studies paper 3. It will have a substantial contribution in the essay paper, and the other examination which has a huge dominance of economy paper, the examination like Reserve Bank of India Grade B examination, SIDB and NABARD, this will have a substantial contribution. Now, this particular report, which was released, gives a very vital information about Indian economy journey and the part of the incremental progress that we have seen over the decade. So I tell you the entire detail that is there in this Indian economy a review report. We'll see and understand what is this relevant. So for this particular report, the Indian economy review, there are two important chapters that has been released. The first chapter is the Indian economy past, present and future. This is a one chapter which will specifically give you the highlights from 1950, and the other chapter is what made India economy resilient. So we'll see how India has made progress. Even we'll understand the part of the repercussion that Indian economy had during the COVID-19. So all this detail that will be there in these two chapters will give you a complete and comprehensive idea about the India's economy journey. So let's get started. And before that, I'll give you the preface that what we are going to discuss. So the chapter 1 specifically talks about the India growth story, right? So this growth story continues from 1950 to 2040 and the lesson that has been learned till 2040. The second chapter, which is more an advanced version, which actually cater the part of various other sectors, will see Indian economy growth and forecast, some of the important policies measures जिसने गवर्नमेंट को हेल्प किया है बहुत सारे इंपॉर्टेंट सेक्टर्स को ऑगमेंट करने में, and the new approach, the part of new welfare approach, will see different domains and sector where government has actually come up with the detailed policies with their implementation and a potential outcome that is substantially making contributions to the Indian economy. Now let's get started and understand what is there in the chapter 1. So as I told you at the beginning, there are two chapters. So the first chapter is the Indian economy past, present and future. So in this, the first thing first, that in 10 years, we've seen that Indian economy has moved as from the 10th largest economy to the 5th largest economy. This is an evidential fact. Even this was a statement which was quoted by Prime Minister, and India definitely has a potential to become the third largest economy. Now this is a preface, a part of the introductory statement that I'm taking, the quote and unquote from the Prime Minister's statement. Now do not worry about the part of the discussion. I'll also give you a PDF, which is the part of the official document which is there. You can download that from the description section. मैंने वहाँ पे एक लिंक दिया हुआ है जहाँ से आप डायरेक्टली इस पूरे डॉक्यूमेंट को डाउनलोड कर पाएंगे. Please continue and understand the importance of this document till end of this discussion. So first is the India's growth story. This start way back from 1950 till 2014. We'll see the major changes, the part of the important, the part of the episodic that Indian economy has took place. So starting from 1950 की अगर बात करें, after gaining independence, we get our independence in 1947. There were a lot of other part which was actually involved in getting the independence, right? So we're not getting into that historical part. So India gained independence, and when it comes to the part of world economy overall share, India's economy, which was earlier 22.6%, has declined to 3.8%. Now this is pretty important data. From 22.6%, we have seen a downfall of 3.8%. Now this is something which was there at 1952. Now, this was a huge number, a huge decremental that Indian economy has seen. Now in 1950, the government has focused on economic self-sufficiency, जहाँ पे industrialization, massive investment और state-owned enterprises पे ध्यान दी गई थी. The average growth was during this time, during 1952, this is precisely 1952 to 1960, was 3.9%. Now keep this in mind because this is again important. Earlier the growth was close to 22.6%, and at this 1960 at the end it reached up to 3.9% only. Now, this is the facts. Now in 1960 what has happened? We come across the Sino-India War, and in 1995-1966 India-Pakistan war was again there, and severe drought in 1965 has also led to the significant repercussion in Indian economy. So this has also led to the decremental growth जहाँ पे काफी ज़्यादा Indian economy की progress नहीं हुई. Now, moving ahead with the other year, that is the 1970, it has witnessed a devaluation. Now, this devaluation was something which was at the sharp value of 57% decline, right? This where the rupee had been subsequently declined to 57%. The decade has also characterized by severe political instability. उसके साथ साथ emergency impose की गई थी 1975 में. If you have read history well, you must be aware of this basic details. Now, all the things that I'm discussing here is from the document that was released. Now, it also seen the sharp downfall in the decremental average growth, and the average growth again from 3.2% or 3.8% has reached up to 2.9% only. Now, this was again a tough time for India. Additionally, the global economy have faced considerable volatility due to the part of the periodic shock which was there from the oil industries. Now, come to 1980, what has happened during 80s? The global economic growth has de-accelerated, right? The latter half of the 19th century and the 1980s, we have seen several repercussions in the economy because of the economic volatility at the global level. This was not something at the indigenous level, but at the global level. But the reform measures was taken. The government has always ensured that there should be a domestic competitiveness that will ensure the robustness and overall progress of the economy. The measures that was taken by the government of India include the part of restructuring of the public sector. Public sectors की अगर बात करें उसकी restructuring हुई. दूसरी जो import duties थी, the part of import duties which was there was actually reduced, and deregulations of the domestic industry. Now, these are the three important reforms that government of India has actually taken during 1980s. Now, moving ahead of 1990s, the BOP crisis, the very important crisis, I think most of you must be aware of this. 1990 marked a crucial turning point for the Indian economy. Now, reform was actually to dismantle the complex systems problem which was there, and even reduce the state owned ownership. उसके अलावा जो इनवर्ड लुकिंग ट्रेड स्ट्रैटेजीज थी उसको भी इंप्रूव की गई सो दैट आर इकोनॉमी can have a robust growth and even for the part of sustainable growth. Some key changes were there with the state controlled productions and privatizing the public sector for business. So the concept of triple P, the public private partnership, was actually conceptualized and started with the implementation. The real growth of the GDP has averaged to 5.8%. Now, this was a time where a substantial progress was made, which was definitely not as per the desire, but definitely some progress was made. Now, 2000 time की बात करें, the early part of the 2000 had witnessed a substantial momentum of the domestic economy. Now, कुछ corporate performance भी रही, even the part of the industrialization was at the boom. Investment climate was increasing. There was a positive sentiment in the market with the part of the preference, the destinations encouraging the global liquidity and interest rate. So what happens when we have a good amount of FDI? The investment, the positive sentiments which is there with the economy, there are a lot of other inflows of the funds which is there, which actually strengthen the economy and allow the other the part of the trading partners to come and invest in the country. Now, moving ahead with 2000 to 2014, for this timeline, we have seen the robust growth in the Indian economy with some of the important initiatives taken by the government of India include the Service Shiksha Abhiyan, the National Rural Healthcare Mission, better known as NRHM. उसके अलावे नरेगा जैसे जैसे महात्मा गांधी नेशनल रूरल एम्प्लॉयमेंट गारंटी स्कीम बोलते हैं, that was implemented over the overall growth of the Indian economy was close to 6.3%. Now I'm giving you a brief idea from 1950 to 2014 to give you a proper background about the Indian economy growth. Now उसके बाद 2008 में global financial crisis हुई which has again led to the vulnerabilities leading to the rise in the bad debt and even reaching up to 11.2%. This was on a pretty higher side, right? 2009 से 2014 के बीच में एक सस्टेनेबल ग्रोथ और सस्टेन ग्रोथ देखी गई. इवन द हाई फिजिकल डेफिसिट्स वर देयर, लूज इन द मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी causing the high inflation, double digit growth from 2019 to 2014. Now 2014 के बाद सिंपली गवर्नमेंट ने कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट स्ट्रक्चरल चेंजेस किए अपने पॉलिसीज मेजर्स में, boosting the part of macroeconomic fundamental also. So this till 2014, the part of the changes were actually visible, and the substantial progress has also been made in the last decade. So through the other chapter, we'll see the important changes what government has actually brought. So before that, what was a lesson that was learned from the experience till 2014? It was learned first that the Indian economy is a transition from the closed economy to an open economy, and the open economy was actually there post globalization itself. The second, that Indian economy has translated from public investment to the coexisting of public and private investment. And third, that technology has begun to be identified as a key growth driver. Now, today we cannot deny the fact that the involvement of tech sector has substantially made progress on each and every sectors, be it manufacturing, defense, health, or skilling sectors. Now, moving ahead with the chapter number 2 that is there in this particular document that specifically talk about what made the Indian economy resilient and how the economy has performed well. So, starting with the first thing first we'll go the definition of resilience. अगर Cambridge University dictionary की बात करें, so it says that the word resilience means the ability to sustain the growth to its unusual shape after being bent, stretched, or pressed. This is a definition. This was important for you to define because if you're writing specifically mains examination, आप इस तरह के direct statement वहाँ use कर पाएंगे. Now, Indian economy की growth की बात करें for the financial year 2021 due to the global pandemic, जो real GDP है वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा contract हुई 5.8%, and various sectors. If you look at the broader growth sector that has seen the negative growth, there was a decremental in the part of overall growth. Now, the fastest growing economy अगर बात करें G20 nations में, इंडिया एक ऐसी इकोनॉमी है पूरे G20 नेशन में जिसकी सबसे ज़्यादा पोस्ट रिकवरी हुई COVID-19 के, and we have seen a tremendous growth of 7.3%. The country has witnessed a consecutive growth of 9.1% for the financial year 2022 और उसके बाद 23 की बात करें 7.2% की ग्रोथ देखी गई है. Now, नेशनल स्टैटिकल ऑफिस ने भी ये बताया है कि जो फर्स्ट एडवांस एस्टिमेट है फॉर द इंडियन रियल जीडीपी ग्रोथ वाज 7.3% फॉर द फाइनेंशियल ईयर 24. Now, some of the important policies measures that government of India has actually taken that has actually worked in the longer run. These policies were for a longer run, long-term measures हैं ये. So first was actually the unifications, or you can say the part of GST that was implemented that has called for productions on the large scale, and it has enhanced the economic efficiency and performance, right? The reform that was taken in the MSME sector, that is the micro, small and medium enterprises, has also called for the participation of small enterprises, right? The India's digital public infrastructure, अगर DPI की बात करें, काफ़ी ज़्यादा ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन हुई है, और there has been the authentication system which has made things more easy for the part of business enterprises. Now, the government has come up with a comprehensive approach जहाँ पे migration of the actions was taken, contributions to the global part, and even the climate change that was there. Government has actually come up with the broad policies measures which has actually ensured that the climate change and even the part of sustainable development should be there at the foremost priority. Now, कुछ और important infrastructure development में बात करें, Bharatmala is among one. Then we have port infrastructure as Sagarmala, electrifications, railway upgradations, and the part of new airport and the part of the air routes, that is through the Udan scheme. Ude Desh Ki Aam Nagrik was one of the other initiatives that Government of India has specifically promoted to ensure the overall development of the country. Now, coming to the other details, I'll give you the brief idea about the new welfare approach that Government of India has actually come up with. Now, this is about the various sectors where development was actually made. Starting with the first is about the healthcare, which ensure affordable and wholesome health, where Ayushman card was distributed to 6.2 crore people, and even at 30.3 crore was Ayushman card, which created, and 6.2 crore hospital admission was actually there. Then we have Ayush Arogya Mandir. This was a kind of primary healthcare facilities that was provided. E-Sanjeevani OPD. This has actually also helped during the COVID-19 pandemic. Jan Aushadhi Kendra was also there. There are Jan Aushadhi medicine centers to provide the generic drug at affordable cost. 16% decline in the TB cases, and even the part of Jan Shuraksha Yojana, which was actually ensured that 1 crore people has got the benefit of this. Now, the second important sector is the education, where new education policy, that is NEP, the National Education Policy 2020 was implemented. Government ने नई curriculum framework लाई. उसके अलावे Parak was the again important initiative where government has ensured that the implementation, performance assessment, review and analysis for holistic development take place. उसके बाद निपुण भारत मिशन, something again very important, which call for literacy through the foundational literacy and numeracy by 2026 and 27, and expansion of digital learning. Now, we have seen that during COVID-19, it was pretty evident of the fact that digital learning is the only solution at that point of time. So स्वयं पोर्टल और MOOC जैसे चैनल्स के साथ भी गवर्नमेंट ने अपनी जो दायरे हैं उसको बढ़ाया. Achievement for the समग्र शिक्षा, इसके कुछ डेटाज हैं. This will definitely help you in the mains examination. Now, skilling was another important area where government has actually put their best impetus with the PM Kaushal Vikas Yojana, Skill Digital India Performance, 2.26.9 lakh apprentice was there, craftsman training was provided, entrepreneurship training, and the PM Vishwakarma scheme was implemented and launched in September 2023, which actually provide support to artisans, including their skill upgradations, collateral free part of the loans which is there, which will ultimately help them to boost their overall livelihood options. Now, the other important sectors is entrepreneurship, where the startup were organized. 44.5 crores people were provided Mudra loan. Now, PM Swanidhi is another important scheme which has actually provided loan to the vendors. The local vendor, the street vendor was provided with the loan. DANRNM, which called for mobilization of self-help group, and Stand Up India, which actually provided 22.1 lakh crore, with a part of 84% has been sanctioned under women entrepreneurship. Now, this was something which provided overall development for the sector, which was actually hugely impacted due to COVID-19. And the other important area is basic amenities, where Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin was actually there, where close to 11 crore toilets were actually built up by the government, and 2.3 lakh community complexes were built. Apart from this, we have Jal Jeevan Mission. Other than this, PM Awas, which called for both rural and urban. The household were actually given, the Pakka house were provided. Other than this, 10 lakh LPG connections through PM Ujjwala Yojana, which has actually helped a lot many people. Subhagya Suraksha Yojana was there for the electricity. This actually calls for 21.4 crore rural household connections. And Digital India, where 4.5 lakh common services center were built in the rural areas, which has actually helped a lot many people to ensure that they are connected with the common services center. Other than this, the last but not the least is the social security, where PM Jan Dhan Yojana was actually there. 51.4 crore people was the actual beneficiaries. Then we have scheme like PM Jeevan Jyoti and PM Suraksha Bima Yojana, which call for insurance and other emoluments provided to the senior citizen. The Atal Pension Scheme for the total subscriber has taken a toll up to 6.1 crores, and even the PM Shram Yogi Mandhan Yojana has actually helped the pension beneficiaries for 49.7 lakh unorganized sector. So this was the complete picture how government has actually made things more resilience and overall development of the Indian economy. I hope this session was useful to you. And if you want to download the entire journal, the part of the document that I have discussed, you can refer to the description section down below, जहाँ पे एक dedicated link मिलेगी आपको, वहाँ से आप PDF download कर पाएंगे. You can even refer to the website also, the official website of the ministry. So this was all about for the discussion. I'll meet you in the other session relevant from the examination point of view. If you like this video, Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being stay kind.